So some of you mentioned that the pipeline needed a bit more character to it, and a lot of you suggested putting some weathering effects on it. So today, we're going to be making our own weathering powder and applying it to our modular wargaming pipeline. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome, great to have you, and here's what's up. If you want to improve your wargaming, make your tabletop battles more epic, and give your wargaming budget more power, be sure to smash the subscribe button and ding the bell. That way, you're never going to miss anything. Okay, so I got a couple of comments on the last terrain tutorial on Facebook about the pipes looking a bit too much like what they originally were and needing a bit more just to make them have a bit more wow factor. And someone was kind enough to tip me off to something I'd never considered, because weathering powders are just downright expensive, but a nice cheap way to do this, and I thought I'd share it with you. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make some weathering powder and apply it to our pipeline. Now let's check out what we're going to need to do this. Okay, so here's the things you're going to need to make this weathering effect and apply it to your terrain. Obviously, you need your terrain that you're going to apply your weathering effect to. You're also going to need the stuff you're going to make your weathering effect out of. In this case, we've got some soft pastels, not oil pastels. I just picked these up from the dollar store, nice and cheap. There's a whole bunch of different colors, but we're probably only going to use a few colors. You're going to need some storage to store the powder that you're going to make out of the pastels in. You're going to need a knife so you can cut up the pastels into more manageable chunks. And you're going to need something to turn them into powder. You could use a blender, but from what I've seen, for best results, you're better off putting in a bit of extra effort and using a mortar and pestle if you have one, or in my case, the handle of a screwdriver and a nice board to grind it on. Then of course you're going to need some acrylic medium to stick your weathering powder to your terrain, and your water and PVA just to seal it all off at the end. Okay, so let's get started. First thing you're going to want to do is crack open your pastels. So you just pull them open, whip them out, get rid of that. Then you can use your knife to slice it open. Oh, I do like opening up stuff that's wrapped in plastic. And when you get your pastels open, you're going to have something like this with a nice variety of colors that you can choose for your effects. So in my case, I want this nice dark grey is the one I'm going to use first, if I can get it out. So basically, from my understanding, from my quick 30-second Google search, you just want to cut it up into smaller pieces and it will crumble a little bit. And it's probably a good idea to do this on a clean board, unlike this one, so you don't get any contamination of the colour. Just like so. Cut it into any of the big bits into smaller pieces to make it more manageable, and we're left with some chunky stuff like that. So now we're going to grab our screwdriver and we're just going to mash it down into a powder, like so. And it's really not that hard to mash it into a powder. Obviously this is even easier if you have a mortar and pestle. You just kind of roll it around on all the pieces and it should mash it down into a nice powder. And then once you get it to a consistency like this, you bash it a bit with the screwdriver or your mortar and pestle, just to get it to smash down into a really nice fine powder for you. And I feel like I've said nice fine powder way too many times already. Of course, this will be a lot quicker in a blender, but you don't get the same inconsistencies in the size using a blender. They all mash down to the same size, which doesn't make it look quite as good when it's done. Bam! And it's all crushed up and it's even changed colour on us. So now we want to transfer it into our container. So you just pop your container open, like so. And you're going to grab a razor blade and an old teardrop template. Finally found use for the damn things. And we're just going to use the razor blade to scrape the powder onto the template as much as possible, and then we're going to make a huge mess as we try to transfer it into this container. Use get it all into your little box. And any bits that you're finding are still a little bit big, you can always grind them again later if you want. Nothing weird at all about scraping up a white powder with a razor blade. I mean, that's perfectly normal, right? There we go. And as you can see, I now have some dark grey and some white. And you can smash up any of these colours you like, and you can have dirt in any colour. You could have some purple dirt if you wanted to. So the next thing we're going to do is apply some of this to our terrain. Okay, so now that we've got the powders cut up and they are looking nice and powdery, what we're going to do is we're going to take our first piece of terrain, and for the weathering effect I want to do on this, I'm going to start with dark right down towards the bottom and then use a lighter powder up towards the top just to get a bit of a gradient effect. So to do this, what we're going to do is we grab our brush and we're just going to grab some of the black powder out of there and put it onto our board or palette. Then we're going to grab our acrylic medium and we're going to apply, get it open first, and we're going to apply a couple of drops of it to our powder. Then we're just going to mix that all together. Once you are mixed up to the consistency you want, you can take your piece of terrain and we're just going to apply it to the bottom like so. So you apply it around the bottom of all of your terrain like so, and possibly even do it quite a bit lighter than that. Okay, so I've worked out what went wrong. So basically, you need to make sure that when you are thinning down your pigment of your powder with your medium, you want to thin it down so it's pretty much a wash. And the way I've gotten around to this is while it was still wet, I took some water on my brush and I just brushed over it to take a lot of the pigment off and just leave a little bit there to make it look like it's just dirt going up the side of it. And I've made a whole bit of a mess all over this one, but that's okay because it's been outdoors for 60,000 years. So the next one I want to add is I want to take our dark grey, and this brush is wet, so if I just stick it in there, I'll get some and just apply it to there like so. Get some more medium and just make it so that it's pretty much a wash. So just mix that around, and we're just going to apply that a little bit up above the grey as thinly as we can. So we're just going to dab it on like so and make this whole thing look nice and dirty. And you want to make it so it all sort of comes up to about the same height on the pipe. And that's possibly even a little bit too much. So if you find yourself applying too much, wash your brush off, and then you can just brush it down like so to take some of it off to make it so that it's thinner towards the top like so. And it makes it look nice and dirty and nice and weathered like it's been outside for 60 million years. So you just do the same thing on all of your other bits of pipe. Where you've got pigment on the sand down there, you're probably going to want to get some PVA, go over it and add a bit more sand just to cover that up as best as you can. And then we will seal it with our PVA and water once it's all dried and see how it comes out. Bam! There, it's all done. And I think the weathering effect has come out fairly reasonably if you do ask me. It's got a nice little shadow underneath it where it looks like dirt and stuff is just stuck to the underside from the wind blowing past, and it's added a nice extra layer to it. Of course, you could take this far further and you could add crystals or stuff to the bases of it. You could even make it so that the base just covers the entire length of the pipe and have it so it's not modular, and then you could do all sorts of fun stuff with the base just to make it stand out and be more interesting. But I think that it works just as it is, especially if you get some other terrain, like say these crystals, and you put them in around it like so, and now it looks a lot more interesting and like there's a lot more added to it. So there you go, that's how you can make some super cheap weathering powder that gives you heaps of it, and it didn't take that much effort really, and it adds a really nice dynamic feel to your terrain. I mean, look at that. It looks like it blends into the ground quite nicely, and it just makes it look a little bit more more real. I think I still have a bit of practice to do on applying it just to make it look a bit better, because as you can see there is a bit underneath there, but it hasn't quite built up as nicely on there as it did around there, or even on that one. So it does take a bit of practice, but you can get really great results for not a lot of money. Let us know what you think in the comment section below, and as always, if you have any ideas for some terrain you'd love to see us make, chuck that in the comment section as well so we can see if we can make that happen for you. And if you like this video and found this information useful, please leave a thumbs up so that we know that you like it, so that we can keep making stuff that you guys like. And if you want to improve your wargaming, make your tabletop battles more epic, and give your wargaming budget more power, be sure to smash the crosshair and ding the bell. You'll subscribe and I'll be able to share with you more battle reports, terrain tutorials, and strategies to make your wargaming experience more epic. And I'll see you next time.